My name's Kyle, and I will be discussing the basic terminology for parts of a gun, especially if you've never picked up a gun, never held one, never even looked at one, been in the same room with one. Obviously, you would probably have no idea what any of the terms meaning two specific parts of the rifle. You would have no idea what we would be talking about. So, especially for learning safety rules, it's important that you know parts of the gun because safety rules are just going to reference parts of the gun. They're not going to specifically say, oh, the part you put your hand on, please make sure that you have it there at all times, or, something like that. Actually, the best example I can think of right now is keep muzzles pointed downrange at all times. But we'll start with the muzzle, and we'll just work our way from the front to the back. This very front portion here is the muzzle, just this portion. Then we move down to the barrel here. We have our forward sight here, also a forward sight or four sights. We move to our rear sight. Now these two are a dovetail system. Well, this is the dovetail sight. All guns are always going to have a foresight, and that's whether it be a bead or a thin line. That's something you're always going to put on your target when you shoot. And here's the fore stock. Any wood part of the weapon will be known as the stock, and this is the forestock. This is where your forward hand goes when firing the weapon. Moving back, we have the trigger, which I think we're all familiar with what a trigger is. And then this curved part of metal around the trigger. Now this is an older, maybe a little more fancier design, maybe being a little artistic with the trigger guard here. But this is a really old gun. Most of them have a solid semicircle around the trigger, and that's always your trigger guard. So when they see, keep your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot, or you have the order to shoot, basically you can just rest it on the guard here, never on the trigger. Also, located in this area would usually be a safety. Safety is usually some sort of switch, easily recognizable. Most models nowadays have a red side, and it's basically a push button through, basically around the trigger area. Somewhere in this area, there'd be a little switch that you could either push through or pull down or push up or something like that, and that sets your safety. When a safety is on, the trigger can be pulled, but should not move. It shouldn't fire the firing pin, or the hammer in this case. It shouldn't fire the weapon when the safety is on. But again, learning safety rules and the further road ahead, never pull the trigger. Just never do it unless you're ready to take aim and shoot. I mean, after you've taken aim and you're ready to shoot, that's the only time you should ever pull the trigger. Moving on. Also, in this area, we have the chamber. The chamber is inside the barrel, and you can't, maybe a little, but there's a little hole right there where the round goes, aka the bullet. Bullets are known as rounds. Then moving backwards, we have another sight. This is a secondary sight, peep sight. This would be for longer range targets. Dovetail would be for closer range. And then we move into the actual stock. Like I said, wood means stock. And the very end here, this part only, this very tip here is known as the butt. And that should cover parts. Going back over them one more time, starting from the opposite end and working forward, we have our butt of the gun. We have our stock of the gun. We have peep sight. We have trigger guard. We have trigger. We have chamber inside there, where the round goes, the bullet, also known as the round. We have the barrel here, the barrel, I would say. We have our rear sight, our forestock, where the hand is placed. We have our foresight, and then we have our muzzle. And that's the terminology you would need to know when handling a gun, and that should teach you everything you need to know to learn safety rules and to move on and further progress in gun safety and gun knowledge. So I bid you all adieu.